Please give a crash course on Russia-Ukraine war, including rationale, timeline, current status, and future development, as detailed as possible. The Russia-Ukraine war is a conflict that began in 2014 and continues to this day, with no clear end in sight. The conflict has its roots in the history and politics of the region, and is complicated by issues of ethnicity, language, and national identity. Here is a crash course on the Russia-Ukraine war. 1. Rationales. The conflict began when Ukraine's pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych was ousted from power in a popular uprising in 2014. In response, Russia annexed Crimea, a region of Ukraine that has a majority ethnic Russian population, and supported separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine who seek to break away and join Russia. Russia argues that it is defending the rights of Russian-speaking people in Ukraine, while Ukraine and its allies accuse Russia of aggression and territorial expansion. 2. Timeline to now. The recent war began in February 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine after months of escalating tensions over Ukraine's pro-Western orientation and NATO aspirations. 5. Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine and supported pro-Russian separatists fighting the Ukrainian military in the Donbas region. 5. Ukraine launched a counteroffensive in October 2022, recapturing some territories and advancing towards the Dnipro River. 6. The war has caused thousands of casualties, millions of displaced people, and a humanitarian crisis in Europe. 4. The international community has condemned Russia's aggression and imposed sanctions on Moscow. The US and its allies have also provided military aid and diplomatic support to Ukraine. China has proposed a peace plan that involves a ceasefire, a UN peacekeeping mission, and a referendum on Crimea's status. However, the US has dismissed China's role as not rational and said it would not accept any outcome that violates Ukraine's sovereignty. 18. France has welcomed China's involvement in the peace process, saying it could help ease tensions and find a political solution. 1. Russia has cut off oil supplies to Poland and other European countries, accusing them of supporting Ukraine's genocide against Russian speakers. 19. The war is still ongoing as of February 25, 2023. The future development depends on several factors, such as the military balance on the ground, the diplomatic efforts by various parties, and the public opinion in Russia and Ukraine. 3. Current status. The conflict remains unresolved, with no clear end in sight. The ceasefire agreements have not held, and sporadic fighting continues. Ukraine remains divided, with the government controlling the western regions and the separatists controlling parts of the east. The annexation of Crimea by Russia has not been recognized by most countries, and the region remains under Russian control. 4. Future development. The future of the conflict is uncertain. Russia has been accused of supporting the separatists with troops and weapons, and there are fears that a new invasion could be imminent. The situation is further complicated by the involvement of other countries, including the United States and European Union, who have imposed sanctions on Russia in response to its actions in Ukraine. The conflict has also had a devastating impact on the people of Ukraine, with thousands of deaths and displacement, and an economy that has been severely impacted by the fighting. 5. Key leaders. Here are the main leaders for both sides of the Russia-Ukraine war, their profiles, and their current positions. A. Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky is the current president of Ukraine, having been elected in 2019. He is a former comedian and television producer who was previously best known for his role in a popular Ukrainian television show. Zelensky has been a vocal critic of Russia, and has pledged to continue Ukraine's pro-Western orientation. He has been a key figure in the ongoing conflict, visiting the front lines and meeting with foreign leaders to seek support for Ukraine. Zelensky has faced criticism from some Ukrainians who accuse him of not doing enough to end the conflict or enact meaningful reforms. B. Russia. Vladimir Putin is the current president of Russia, having been in power since 2000, with a brief hiatus from 2008 to 2012. Putin is a former KGB agent who rose to power in the wake of the collapse of the Soviet Union. He has been a controversial figure both in Russia and abroad, accused of authoritarianism, corruption, and human rights abuses. Putin has been a key figure in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, having annexed Crimea and supported separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine. He has also been accused of supporting the rebels with troops and weapons, although Russia denies this. Putin's leadership and policies have been subject to international sanctions, and he has been widely criticized for his role in the conflict. See, separatist leaders. The separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine are led by several different groups, each with its own leader. Some of the key separatist leaders include Alexander Zakharchenko, deceased. Zakharchenko was the leader of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic until his assassination in 2018. He was a former electrician, who became a commander in the rebel forces. Denis Pushilin. Pushilin is the current leader of the Donetsk People's Republic, having been elected in 2018. He was previously a businessman and political activist. Leonid Paseknik. Paseknik is the current leader of the self-proclaimed Luhansk People's Republic, having taken over from his predecessor in 2017. He was previously a security official in the Ukrainian government. These separatist leaders have been accused of human rights abuses and war crimes, including the shooting down of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17. They are not recognized by the international community as legitimate leaders. In summary, the Russia-Ukraine war is a conflict that began in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea and supported separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine who seek to break away and join Russia. The conflict remains unresolved, with no clear end in sight, and sporadic fighting continues. The situation is further complicated by the involvement of other countries, including the United States and European Union, who have imposed sanctions on Russia in response to its actions in Ukraine. The conflict has had a devastating impact on the people of Ukraine, with thousands of deaths and displacement, and an economy that has been severely impacted by the fighting.